What's going on, guys? The Backwoods Bogan here. So we're back. Same day, same footage for me. Different day, different video for you guys. So we're going to keep going on with the exploration. Show you the rest of the video of me walking around and going through the bush. We're then going to pack up and we'll probably head out of here today. So I hope you enjoy. Gonna be fun once I get the Vitara here. See if it really paid off putting all those big tyres on it. Drop it in the swamp and get bogged. Look at that. Now, some of you will know what that is. If you know, you know. Oh, we have pigs. Yeah, we definitely got pigs here. Grass pushed down. Man. Yeah, there's cutouts everywhere from them. Just ripping up the fucking mud. Well. Yeah, not too particularly fond about walking through all that high swamp grass. She's just a little too thick in there at the moment. Have a go at these old paper barks, but just twisted, distorted. Had such a hard life. It's a bit hard to tell, but they're like full of dirt. They've been there that long. Unbelievable. All right. Let's try and trek back to some easier bush. Here we are. There's a bit of an odd flat plain here. Like this. I mean, the old owner's put black plastic down. He's got all this soil down on top. I don't know if this is where he was making his bricks. Might have been where he was doing his mud bricks. He's got a runoff here. And the dam sits on the other side of it. And there it is a nice mud down there. I do know that. You see this stuff here? It's a native mistletoe to Australia. It's a horrible stuff. Like, it's still invasive because it takes over the trees, kills them off. That there itself is just an airborne mistletoe. You can see it right there, taking over the tree. If I see a live one, I'll show you. Pretty close to the creek here, actually. Like a little poke over at the creek. There's a track here that I mowed down. Pretty much mowed till I got to the swamp itself again. I went, yeah, no, that's me. It's dried out a bit now. I could have probably ran the mower through it, but the problem I got today is because the battery went flat in the mower, obviously I need to buy a new charge stator. I can't engage the PTO, so I can't do any mowing. Which in turn warrants the zero turn useless. It won't even pick up its dozer blade and drop it by itself. I've got to put the battery pack on it. Okay, we're close. Just got to get through this last bit of bush. We're back at the creek in a different spot. Now, I have trekked through this bush once. Had a look along the whole creek line. As close as I could anyway. Some of it I haven't seen, but the majority of it I have. Can I remember it? Nope. Okay, so we've got a bit of a drop off on this bit. Fucking vines. Get tangled up and tripped down it. Wow. There's a big section of creek there. I'm very surprised I flood because I'm so much higher than the opposite side of the bank. There must be so much land that goes under on the other side for me to flood. It's unbelievable. I'd love to get here in the floods just to be able to see how bad it really is. Let's go for a trek down, eh? Or a slide down, one of the two. Ugh. It's never the down that's the hard bit. It's the back up that's the fun bit. Hey, these vines have got spikes. Nice. Just what I wanted. Yeah. Really? Okay. So I thought I was a lot further along. It's a bit hard to tell, but pretty much. So pretty much over there, about 10 metres, is where we were yesterday, mowing, whippersnipping. That log there is the log that we were looking at from the creek. So it really didn't make it too far. We're still looking at the same bit of creek. Tell you what's crystal clear today, but I can really see the bottom. Once that sun hits it, hoo-wee! And some animals made a nice little path here for me. See if you can see down in there. Look at how clear that water is. Just gorgeous. So it's little wallabies running along here that are making these tracks. I've had scares of crocs in the Mary River before, and this creek line runs straight into the Mary, but chance of crocs coming up a 10-metre bank, very fucking slim. Oh. Another big hole. Just an absolute gorgeous little creek line. It's just been uninhabited for so long. I don't even know it's here. I'll scurry a little bit longer along the bank. Maybe. And how fucking thick this bloody swamp grass gets. Alright, starting to clear up a little bit again. Ooh, the water's getting a bit stagnant up this end, so the flow's slowing down. The leaf litter's getting thicker. Yeah, a lot more stagnant up this end. A nice big chunk of creek here, but really got to open up an offline maps and really start pegging where I am, so I know when I've hit my boundaries. I just don't know how much further I've got. Alright, we might head up here. We're behind the swamp now. Track along for a little bit longer. Creek starts running away from there. Right. So this is another runoff into the creek. There's a ramp he had down to the creek, one of the two. I'll probably turn around from here and head back to camp. Done some good exploring. Wow, this bit of the creek needs attention. That beautiful bend in there. Comes through all that leaf litter, hits there and shoots around. See how hard the water hits these banks when it's flooding. That tree, that big gum up there is just about to fall. You can't really see it due to the sun. Pretty wild. So much lantana to deal with here. All in good time. Here's another big tree that fell during the floods about 2 years ago. It's like 1 in 100 year flood or 1 in 1,000 year floods or whatever they want to call it. That was Maryborough floods. I'd say it just got 2 waterlogs sitting on the side of this bank. Finally gave way during it, then flooded. Created another cavern underneath it. I know the water does push around here a bit and does create a little bit of caves underneath the tree roots, and the trees like to drop. Alright. There's an old post. Another old split post. Didn't quite look like one from the other side. Things you know. Alright, so we're back on the track. Heading back to camp. Now, another little thing I wanted to show on this block is, you know, we are on a floodplain here. So we do get a lot of floodplain material that comes through from other blocks in the floods. But I don't know if it's that what creates it. or whether it's just the water flow around here, but we actually get caves. So now this is all still wet mud. Stays wet for a very long time. Now, if you look closely, it might be a bit hard to see, but that's a cave in there. Now the funny thing about that cave, right, is the water does flow over it. It flows over into this hole, but it's not the reason why this hole's been created. If we walk directly across the top from that cave back towards our driveway where all that water's flowing from, step through here, we find the start of that cave. Now I have a feeling what may happen here is that all the roots from all the trees here hold the topsoil in place. And what that does is pushes the moisture through the bottom layer of the actual earth. And when it does that, because it's a very silty layer we have here, it pushes it out. And once it pushes it out, it starts creating this cavern underneath the root system. And once it creates this cavern, we start getting these cut out or dug out caves that run under the ground. So realistically, we've got a full drainage pipe for about 10 meters here, and no one's put a drainage pipe in. Realistically, they put this drainage pipe in, and they were expecting it all just to roll across the top of the ground here, all the way down to the swamp area. But instead, you create a cave. It's different. So while we're at this cavern, or cave, this is another little bit of a waterway, pond, holds a lot of moisture when it rains. You can see the bed here. You can see how thick the eucalypt or the paper barks get here. So this is another swampy section of the block. Still in the front area of the block where the other swamp is, but closer to the dam. So once this fills up, the dam's full. So it overflows through this bush here. Around all these dead trees. You can kind of see the path the water takes just here. Bangs into this log, runs around it. And then back into the dam over here. Now this is that new dam that we just found before. Ta-da! So we're going to do one more walk back this way. Got to prove to myself that this dam attaches to the other dam. So this is the other one that I just found before. I was all excited about. We went back the other way because we saw 4 or 5 others. We worked out that only one of those 4 or 5 others is actually on our property. Here you go, here's another one. Another empty pond. I'm almost certain if I follow this pond around, well, it's not quite, but it is. You go past this pond, there's another pond. Well, this is a deep little one, this one. Definitely a deep little one, that one. But you go past this pond, and we get back to our main dam. What I would class as the main dam. There it is. This is that main dam from the other side. Ooh, something big just moved there. And it's blowing bubbles. We got a turtle? Wish I saw him before he ducked off. What was it? Don't know what that was. I sat here for another 10 minutes trying to see something move, but nothing's moved. It's making me think it's a turtle. The fact it blew bubbles and now it's kind of gone MIA for a bit kind of says to me it's a turtle. So yeah. Maybe went over to the other side of the dam, went to the big area. Did kind of wiggle off that way with the bubbles, but I thought it was getting a bit shallow there for him, but he may have gone down deeper. It might be deeper there than I think. I mean, out of anything to expect to get into these dams, I'd expect a turtle to get here. He could always just wander out of the creek and make his way up here. So that dam obviously rushes into this dam as well. You can see here there's a random little cutting. There's that dam and there's another random little cutting here, which clearly ponds up. There's also another little random cutting that goes in around that way. I'm not quite sure what people were thinking when they did the excavations here, or whether they even did think, or whether these have just appeared. Like maybe this was where a pig was wallowing at one stage, and then as the water's rushing through the floods, it's just kind of pulled the soil out. Or vice versa, that might have been a part of this, and it's filled in over the years. That seems more the idea, because there's holes in the ground. There's another one right there. It's a bit hard to see. But there's almost a crack the whole way from this dam to that little pond. And there's a pile of dirt here. So, might have been a frantic dig to try and save a house at one stage when it was flooding. Once again, it's really hard to tell when I never got to talk to the old owner. And being that this was abandoned for so long, it's so thick these days you just couldn't tell. Gotta get the excavator here, clear some sections and work it out for myself. Hope for another flood. There's so many random trees that have been planted, like this palm. Palm's not native to here. That thing's been planted and put in this place. But why there? What did it look like before it all overgrew again? I can guarantee none of these big trees were here. Well, some of the big ones would have been, but none of these little suckers would have been here. It's definitely not a native to this area. It's the only one of these palms in the area here that I've found. The dam was certainly dug out at one stage because there's a big mound of dirt in the middle of it here. It's where I was standing before in the last videos and showing you this dam. So this is a little, I guess, pond that's just off the dam. And I don't know if you can see there, but there's another tree that's fallen over, including falling underneath this log. So that log's landed there afterwards somehow. And the tree's still growing up over here. It's growing up beside the log there. Shoot another little shoot there. And then two new shoots, or one shoot, no, two new shoots there. And have a go at the roots coming up underneath it, into the water. Amazing. But as you can see, there's one dry spot. And it starts going in back into the dam. Alright, well that's going to about do the adventures for this trip up the block to our property Backwoods. I'll put you on a bit of a time lapse while I load up the vehicles and everything like that. When it comes to me putting a zero turn on a car trailer, you never know what might happen. But yeah, and then we'll go through a bit of a recap of what we're seeing, what we've done. Now it's time to put the bike on. I might take you down towards the creek one more time on the bike. I showed you that cave, or that, I guess, natural pipeway that made its way underneath the driveway. I'll go down and show you another section where it's done the same thing on the side of the bank of the creek and created a fair decent sized little cave. So let's head down there and I'll show you. Alright, so we managed to make it back down to the creek one-handed with a bloody tripod and a torch in the other hand. So I'll come over and show you this creek, this cave. Alright. So, I don't know if you can see there is a hole there, and it's significant. Now, I've got a torch here, and you can kind of see the bottom. I don't know if you guys will be able to. I'll poke you down there. This way. Oh, that's helping the cause or not? And put it straight. Head down this way. You can see it's definitely a cave. I don't know if it goes back that way any further. But all I can put that down to is the root structure, holding the topsoil in place to erode in the underlayer. So you can zoom out a bit. You can see it there. So the creek is just down the hill there. So the water is finding its natural course to the creek. There we go. You'd like to go upside down. But she's a good little cabin in there. Now, whether that was the water pushing against the creek during the floods and eroding out from the bank in, or whether it was the water sitting up on top here somewhere and washed through, or it may have even came from a lot further away. I mean, who knows? That's the problem here with that other one that I found. It's over 10 meters, and I would not have expected it to be there. But yeah, that's all I wanted to show you. Alright guys, so we're all loaded up, all strapped down, camp's all packed up, caravan's locked up, fireplace is out. We all know there's only one thing left to do here. She ain't going nowhere. Beautiful. Well, that's going to conclude our trip up here this time. So I hope you enjoyed watching it. I think there'll be about 4 videos out of that lot. We've got a lot of footage exploring around here, walking around and having a look at all the interesting things on this property. So yeah, if you did like it, I hope you subscribed, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.